Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about career management. So career management is a broad concept and it spans a length of time. It's not something that happens at one point in time, rather it's an ongoing process. It typically happens in stages and it matches your life course or where you are at that particular stage in your life. So if you think about that, it happens in the context of your life. That's a pretty big concept. So you think about the roles that you have in your life. You may be the child or a parent, a spouse, obviously you're a student, and possibly a worker. And so all of the things that are going on in your career planning at this point involve those roles, but they also involve what those roles are going to look like in, say, 2 years or 3 years or 10 years down the road. And what your career is at that point will be different, or how you view it might be a little bit different. So as your needs as an individual evolve, so will your ideas and your goals in your career. So in thinking about your career from this point, you need to understand yourself. So what is it that is your strengths and weaknesses? And when you think about your strengths and weaknesses, how does that create constraints in your career or in your life? And how does that influence the choices that you're going to make, and what consequences does that have for your career opportunities? So, for example, you may be really strong in perhaps dealing with people, or you're really strong in numbers. And some of the constraints might be that you are a parent, and so you are looking for more of a family-friendly environment. Some of the consequences of choices, for example, perhaps you are very good at interpersonal skills. You decide you want to be a recruiter. Well, if taking a specialist role, which is what a recruiter is, as opposed to a generalist role doing everything, how does that influence your career opportunities in 2 years or 5 years when your life context changes? So understanding the progression of a career, whether it's as a specialist or as a generalist, and what options that gives you to move into other aspects of the career is important to know at the beginning of the planning process, so that as you move forward and make changes, it's easier to understand what the consequences are going to be. So obviously one of the things that you need to do is make career goals. So all employees need to make career goals, whether it's a goal for right now, for today, or it's a goal for in 10 years, I want to be here, so what does my career track look like? Some people know what they want to do in 10 years, and some people won't know what they want to do in 2 years, and some people just haven't figured that out yet, and that's okay. So one of the things about career management is creating alignment between the choices that you make, the activities that you participate in, or where you dedicate your time, and the career goal that you had. So one of the reasons that making career goals early in the process is important, because how you dedicate your activities to that goal is going to determine whether or not you can line those things up. And being able to line those up and show direction, timing, and sequence is important to developing something called career identity. So when we talk about employability, so the extent that an employer looks at you and thinks, oh, this person is very employable for this job, or oh, you know what, there's a new role and I think this person it's much better for this role than another person, that's employability. Or perhaps an opportunity. So as human resource development professionals, providing opportunities for learning and experience and projects are part of the package of looking at individuals' employability. So when we look at career identity, which is one piece of employability, it is a piece that tells employers the extent to which that you understand the profession, that you're committed to the profession. So when we start thinking about how long is somebody going to stay if I hire them, well, to what extent do they really understand the job that they're applying for? Whether this is a generalist at an entry-level position or a generalist at a director position, do you really understand what it entails to be in this job and in this industry? So career identity, in a way, goes to help the employer understand the extent to which you understand the job that you're applying for. So some of the things that go into employability include artifacts. So artifacts are the extent to which you know something about the profession. So getting a degree in human resource management or human resource development, that shows an understanding of the knowledge behind the profession itself. So advancement. If you currently work and you have a grouping of experience, to what extent can you show that that group of experience is related to the job that you want to get? Or if you don't have experience, to what extent have you gone out and tried to get volunteer work, intern work, or part-time work that might demonstrate that you understand the experience related to the job? So what is it like to actually be in the job? Because some people think, oh, I'd like to do this. And then they go into college, they get the degree, they get out, and I don't like that. So, and in fact, when you look in college, oftentimes students will change their degree program 2 times before they settle on a particular program. Unfortunately, some people change their program too late, and they're not able to get the program that they want. Say they have too many credits. And so that kind of lessens their ability to demonstrate career identity. A pattern of stability is one of the things that is related to that. So how do you link your experiences, or how do you explain these things in the context of your career? So if you think about the self-directedness of careers, to what extent can you explain that you had a supervisor role or you were in the military, and this is how that particular role relates to the types of jobs that you want? So the relatable skills, the narrative that you place around it. And status of the profession. So the extent to which that you're providing an objective measure of your identity in that profession. Some of the things include membership in the Society for Human Resource Management, membership in local HR organizations like CTHRMA, Wilco HR, or if you're not local, your local organization, membership in the student HR group, certification. So upon graduation, do you have a certification in your profession? Did you get the A&M-CT or the APHR? Or if you have work experience, did you get a higher level certification from either the Society for Human Resource Management or the Human Resource Certification Institute? So these are both objective and subjective assessments or artifacts, I guess you could say, of what is demonstrating your career identity to a prospective employer or a current employer for a higher level role. If you are a current student at A&M-CT and you haven't gone through this process, one of the things you can do is take the strength assessment. I highly recommend it for the undergraduate students. I'm going to be strongly pushing that in their first semester. And really every student should do this. It's available through the Office of Student Success. And so I actually took the strength assessment, and the strength assessment, it identifies the things that are your strengths, obviously, but it helps you think about them in a different way. So some of them you may not have realized, oh, so that's why I do that. That's a strength for me. But what it allows you to do is to explain those things better. So that subjective narrative of your experience, you're able to use your strength assessment, which is a nice resource document on the things that make you more appropriate for one job or another. Also, I did use this in a class, in an undergraduate class. It was part of an experiment with the Office of Student Success, and all of the students took the strength assessment as part of their experience in the course. And then they told everybody, well, this is what happened. This is what I learned from it. And I was actually able to hear when they started talking about different strengths, I was able to hear, oh, that person would make a good supervisor, or that person would make a good recruiter, or that person would make a great director. And so a lot of times when you look at your strengths, it helps you with those career path decisions. So I strongly encourage you to get the strength assessment done, whether you have a career choice planned out, whether you have career identity firmly affixed, lots of artifacts to show career identity. Even if you're at the end of your program, I strongly encourage you to do that, because I think that you're going to find it eye-opening. Look at me. This is my 3rd career. I'm in the job I want. I'm not looking to move. I took the strength assessment and I looked at that and went, wow, that's really interesting. I think that I have more opportunity in this area to make a bigger impact for students. So that's another way it could be used. So create an action plan at this point. If you have not created an action plan, how you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be. That's something that you should definitely plan out, because you need to plan out the stages that you're going to take, the experiences that you need, the skills that you need. And if you wait too long in your degree program to make those choices, then you don't have enough time to develop that career identity, which is really important to getting that next job. So to wrap this video up, I really want you to consider to what extent you're committed to the choice you've made already, and what is it that you need to know about the choices that you have not made, and what do you need to do in order to show an employer that you are committed to this career and that you would be a great individual to hire for that particular position, or to promote up into the position that you want. So think about that. If you have any questions about your career, or career planning, or any other questions, let me know, and I'm happy to help you with those.